In Palestine, the Israeli regime launched a strong air offensive in Rafah, killing more than 200 people. Venezuela condemns the U.S. transfer of a plane belonging to the state-owned company EMTRASUR, which had been kidnapped in Argentina. And in El Salvador, opposition parties withdrew from the final vote counting of the legislative elections following numerous irregularities. Hello, welcome from the South. I'm Luis Alberto Matos from the teleSUR studios in Havana, Cuba. We begin with the news. Palestinian local media reported on Monday that Israeli forces left more than 200 dead in Gaza after carrying out more than 50 airstrikes against the city of Rafah during the last 24 hours. The Palestinian Health Ministry confirmed that some 67 dead have arrived at healthcare centers, while operations are still underway to recover the dead. The Health Ministry reported that this work has been delayed due to the lack of equipment and the destruction in the area. Authorities pointed out that during the bombardment, Tel Aviv destroyed more than 14 houses and set fire to Al-Huda Mosque, which would confirm the use of internationally banned weapons. According to a recent report by the Palestinian Ministry of Health, the number of Palestinians killed since October 7th is now over 28,000 and the number of wounded almost 68,000. The health authorities warned that this figure could increase since thousands of victims still remain under rubble and in the streets, while the Israeli occupation forces continue to obstruct the arrival of ambulances and civil defense teams. About 7,000 Palestinians have been arrested by the Israeli army and police in the West Bank since the beginning of the attacks on October 7, 2023. The Palestinian Prisoners Club and the Prisoners and Former Prisoners Commission denounced the systematic campaign of arrest in the territory and condemned the increased raids and destruction of Palestinian homes. Both groups noted that during that period, the Israeli forces ordered more than 2,850 administrative detentions, a procedure used to arrest Palestinians for renewable intervals, usually ranging from 3 to 6 months, on the basis of undisclosed evidence, which even the defendants' lawyers are forbidden to see. According to official data, during the last 5 months, 6,950 Palestinian citizens have been imprisoned. The state of Palestine called on the parties concerned to prevent the imminent bloodshed in Rafah, where thousands of citizens have been displaced in the last 24 hours. The Foreign Ministry urged all countries to intervene and make Israel uphold its obligations under the Geneva Convention and in line with the International Court of Justice Preventive Measures Order, including by immediately imposing sanctions and an arms embargo. Finally, they point out that world leaders have a historic responsibility to prevent Israel from launching a ground assault on Rafah and the foreseeable apocalyptic consequences. Earlier today, our correspondent Nur Harasin brings us information about the Israeli offensive against the people of Gaza as it continues, but this time the bombings are directed at the northern area of Rafah, where displaced Gazans remain. Let's see.
Following the Israeli attacks on Rafah, where more than 100 people were killed overnight in a series of Israeli airstrikes that targeted northwest Rafah, which are densely populated areas filled with not only the residents of Rafah but also displaced people who evacuated their homes from northern Gaza and from middle Gaza to come and take shelter in the safe green zone of Rafah. According to the Palestinian Health Ministry, more than 100 people were killed. 80 of them, actually their bodies arrived to the hospital. However, we're talking about more than 20 people that their bodies are still stuck under the rubble. Until this moment, over than 15 hours since the latest Israeli attack, and the paramedics and the rescue teams are still trying to evacuate the bodies of those who are still under the rubble. In a statement from its side, Hamas issued a statement. In this statement, they said, and I quote, that the American administration and the American President Joe Biden takes responsibility over this massacre, this genocide here in Gaza. They also said that in the statement that Israel is ignoring the orders from the international court, asking and calling upon the international community, the Arab and Muslim countries, to intervene and end this war on Gaza, especially that the humanitarian situation is deteriorating in all parts or areas in Gaza, from its north to its south. Nuhar Razin, teleSUR, Gaza.
And with teleSUR, you can now celebrate one of the largest festivals in the South American continent. Gladys Quesada brings you all the details in this Carnival Time 2024. Tune in every day this week at 7 p.m. Caracas time through our Facebook Live at teleSUR English Official and X account at teleSUR English, and discover our most colorful celebrations. All the stories coming up. Stay with us. Welcome back from the South. The Venezuelan government rejected on Monday the transfer to the United States of a plane belonging to the state-owned company EMTRASUR, which had been kidnapped in Argentina. In this way, the government of Venezuela pointed out that the transfer of the EMTRASUR aircraft is a direct robbery by the North American country. It should be recalled that the aircraft owned by the airline Conviasa had been detained in Argentina for more than a year. On the other hand, they also pointed out that the aircraft left Argentina, passing through Chile and Peru and Colombia, and the National Institute of Civil Aeronautics made a call to prohibit the passage of the aircraft through the airspace of the mentioned countries, but none complied. On the other hand, the statements added that U.S. officials arbitrarily repaired the nose gear without permission and also loaded it with fuel without consulting the real owners of the aircraft. In this context, let us recall also that the aircraft and its crew were kidnapped in Argentina at the request of the United States justice system for alleged links with international terrorism, an alibi that eventually fell apart. Since June 2022, the aircraft was detained when it landed in the South American nation in order to refuel, which no company agreed to supply. The aircraft was originally adopted as a cargo plane, and when it was detained in Argentina, it had a crew of 14 Venezuelans and 5 Iranians. The EMTRASUR plane belonging to Venezuela was held hostage for 2 years in Argentina during the government of Alberto Fernandez. Nowadays, the Javier Milei administration allows the United States to officially steal it and continue with the seizure of assets of the Venezuelan state. Venezuela's Vice Minister of Anti-Blockade Policy, William Castillo Boyer, expresses dissatisfaction with Argentina's complicity with the withholding of the Venezuelan airplane by the United States. In social media X, he stated that the theft of an airplane from a sovereign state by the United States with the complicity of the Argentine judicial mafia. Thank you, Alberto Fernandez, for not having lifted a finger in favor of justice. The judicial cooperation agreement between the United States and Argentina establishes that this type of decision, delivery of the plane, is the power of the executive. There was no crime, there was no evidence, there were no guilty parties, pure media and lawfare. Fernandez's cowardice has caused a gigantic damage to Venezuela, thanks also to those who asked for sanctions, all in the wrong. The Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela categorically denounced in a statement by the Foreign Affairs Ministry the blatant theft of the Boeing 747-300 aircraft belonging to the EMTRASUR transport company that was carried out by a conspiracy between the governments of the U.S. and Argentina. The statement stated that among the offenses committed has been the withholding of information at the time of flight identification. Further on, was also declared that the Venezuelan state will take all actions to restore justice and achieve the restitution of the aircraft to its rightful owner. At the end, the release concludes by stating that no empire nor its servile satellites will be able to bend the will of the Venezuelan people who have decided to walk the path of true independence and are building their way to political, economic and social prosperity, as it has been demonstrated to the world in the last few years. On Monday, in Cuba, started the second international meeting of theoretical publications of left-wing parties and movements. The event takes place at the Convention Palace in the capital city of Havana and will last until this Wednesday, February 14, 2024. The forum brings together intellectuals, parties, movements, and popular forces from Cuba and 32 other countries to discuss the importance of unity and the position of youth in the face of fascism and neo-fascism. The meeting is considered important for progressive and lefty forces given the worsening of the international crisis, the rise of governments of extreme right-wing ideology, and the delay of the appearance of new multipolar world order. On Sunday, a survey revealed that 86% of U.S. citizens consider that President Joe Biden is too old to serve a second term. A survey by ABC News and the consulting company Ipsos again revealed U.S. citizens' concerns about Joe Biden's age. The survey shows that 73% of Democrats think Biden, at 81 years old, is too old to hold the office, while 35% of Republicans believe the same about Trump. The survey comes to light days after Special Attorney Robert Hur's report was made public, which cast questions on Biden's cognitive abilities, which he referred to as a comprehensive, well-intentioned elder with a bad memory. In Poland, farmers maintain a blockade on the border with Ukraine, blocking the entry into the European Union of at least 1,000 trucks loaded with Ukrainian products. The blockade is in response to the European Commission's decision to maintain the tariff privileges enjoyed by agricultural products from Kiev. Demonstrators assured that opening the controls of the European bloc to the benefit of Kiev was a mistake that causes problems to the agricultural system of the European Union. According to Ukrainian authorities, demonstrators have prevented the circulation of trucks in both directions, and only about 145 trucks managed to cross the border in the last 24 hours. According to data, between 1,000 and 1,400 trucks loaded with foodstuff from Ukraine crossed the border with Poland daily before the protest. We have now a second short break coming up, but before we invite you to join our WhatsApp community for our English-speaking audience. You can scan the QR code on screen to join directly and share the link to reach more people. Constant news coverage of Latin America and the Caribbean as well as the rest of the world. Stay connected and informed with teleSUR. Final short break, don't go away. Welcome back from the South. On Sunday, in El Salvador, opposition parties announced that they withdrew from the final vote counting of February 4th legislative elections after reporting irregularities promoted by the ruling party. In this way, the president of the Arena Party, Carlos Garcia Sade, reiterated that the measure is due to the Supreme Electoral Tribunal not providing the conditions for a transparent process. In this sense, he stated that they were witnesses of the manipulation of the counting system and then criticized the entry of vigilance without credentials from Nayib Bukele's party, despite being prohibited. In this sense, also, representative of the Vamos party, Nuestro Tiempo and Arena, stated they consider requesting nullity of the election of deputies to the Legislative Assembly due to the anomalies in the electoral process.
If up to 4 substitute magistrates have already decided to say that this process, that they are departing from this process, it is because even they know about the fraud that has happened here. They know about the crazy things that those magistrates, the owners, have done. And well, we as parties are not going to endorse. We are not going to continue endorsing this. Unfortunately, we trust the court. But here we are in this big problem.
It's the second to last night of Carnival, and in Brazil, the party is still going strong. Here's our correspondent Bram Meir in Recife with more.
It's the second to last night of Carnival in Brazil. And across the country, in cities like Rio de Janeiro, Ouro Preto, Salvador Bahia, Olinda, and here where I am in Recife, millions of people are out on the streets celebrating Carnival with friends and family. Here in Recife, there's an estimated 2.7 million people participating in Carnival this year. It's an astounding number when you consider that the metropolitan area only has a population of 3.7 million. But 600,000 tourists are also coming in by air, by bus, by car, from all over Brazil and all over the world. To avoid the kinds of confusion and problems that are caused by having huge huge, massive crowds night after night in Carnival. The mayor's office here in Recife has created 19 neighborhood carnival centers with stages and an afternoon of different acts playing the kinds of folk music that Carnival is famous for in Recife, like maracatu, frevo, and bumba meu boy. And as the night wears on, they bring on DJs and nationally known acts playing styles of music like reggae, funk, pop, and rock. So, as Carnival moves into its second to last night, it's still going strong. Carnival 2024 is going to go down in history as one of the best carnivals that Brazil has ever had.
We have come to the end of this news brief. You can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. You can also join us on our social media, Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. For TeleSUR English, I'm Luis Alberto Matos. Thank you for watching.